Good evening, ladies and DeGents. Welcome back to the Distinguished DeGents podcast. I am your host for this evening, Jason Money Mansamnn, coming off a glorious week of NFL football. Joining me on the left of the screen, he's not doing too well. You see him, he's struggling. Not a good week for him. First week of the year, down in the Caser contest, out of fantasy football. It is Steve Little Bucks Aveda. Little Bucks, at least the Broncos won.
First of all, it's not Little Bucks, it's no Bucks. I was up 12 units week 13. It's now going into week 16. I'm broke even. Let's start with that. Despite the fact that we had the literal same fucking picks in the contest. Starting with that. Literal same picks. We go to a toss-up. What does my dumbass do? Let's take the bum-ass Bears plus 7. And they remembered who they were. So that was dummy number 1. Dummy number 2. The fucking fantasy playoffs. What do? Do I take Jared Goff, who we'll talk about later in the episode when we get to your Bills, and discuss how he goes fucking yard against your defense, where the Bills' defense is a total letdown once again? So much for that zone defense being Goff's weakness. He fucking tore them apart. No, what do? I play rookie Bo Nix, who I got off the trade deadline, who's looking pretty good, hasn't turned the ball over. I start him in a game where he throws 3 interceptions and 130 yards. Lose my fantasy championship solely because of that move. Not a good weekend. But not that you can tell from my record on the screen, I am currently 115, 105, and 4 ATS, so I'm still at that 50% mark. We only have a few weeks to go, but look, considering how bad it ended last year, I'm hoping if I can just stay positive and above that 50% mark, I'll be all right. Okay. Broncos did get the win. This might be the last week, might be the last episode I ever don the Broncos gear, because if they lose Thursday Night Football, my shit's going in the fire pit.
They're guaranteed to make the playoffs now. I don't know why you're so angry.
They're not guaranteed to make the playoffs.
Well, you know what I mean, virtually.
It's the polar opposite of last year, where it was like they have to win out and make it. Like, remember last year the Broncos were in this spot and they only had to go to Detroit on a Saturday and then proceed to play New England on a Saturday. And then when they lost that, they benched Russell Wilson. This is like the polar opposite, where it's like, oh, well, we just have to go into LA and beat the Chargers. And then after that, we have to go to Cincinnati and beat the Bengals. And then after that, it's just the Kansas City Chiefs.
Chiefs will have their 1 seed locked up by then. They won't even. You'll be playing against Carson Wentz. Like, if you lose to Carson Wentz week 17, that'll be bad.
Yeah, like I said, this might be the last week I don the Broncos gear. I have a lot of concerns going into Thursday night. Before we do that, though, I do think we have to discuss week 15, sadly. I have to discuss how I lost this Caser bet and just a bunch of other mistakes I did. But the one crazy
thing yet, you're just down for the first time all year.
That's
Not
true.
Since week 1. You've literally been ahead or tied every week until now.
You know what's crazy is that, like, looking at my record, we went 6-1 ATS in the 1 o'clock slate. But Monty Mansamnn, tell us about your gambling weekend. You had a couple good hits. So I want you to take the moment. Go ahead and boast. You're the host this evening. So I had some gold.
Yeah,
Brown and Cinnies.
Gotta pour myself some medicine.
Happy holidays out there, everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. So I had a few round robins out there, a couple that broke even. And then I had a magnificent 7-leg round robin. One of those 7 picks, Josh Allen, 2 touchdowns at 8-1. He proceeded to get 2 touchdowns in the first quarter. A couple of the other plays, Lad McConkey under receiving yards.
That was easy.
Atlanta -4.
Too easy.
Vikings -2.5. That was like my tease leg. I think I had, oh shit. I'm trying to think of what a couple of the other ones were. I don't remember all of the legs. I think there was another one that was Saquon Barkley over a reception and a half in the game. Anyway, it was 7 legs, a unit and a half into the bet, 30 units back.
Wow.
All in all, for the week, I gained 30 units.
Unbelievable.
So with that,
meanwhile,
happy week 15, DeGents.
Yeah. Meanwhile, for me, salute to you. I'm going to unfortunately drown my sorrow in some cinnies.
Oh.
Okay, we're live. Some of my best bets did hit. My dog of the week, Dallas Cowboys money line, 2-unit profit on that. That came through. My fade of the week, unfortunately, did not hit. One of the other bets I did get, though, earlier in the week, I mentioned it, the Rams-Niners under 49.5. That was like my guaranteed lock of that game, so I did hit that. I also hit Cincy -4.5. I had a Denver-Kansas City parlay. That gave me a unit. 2 of my first half bets, and I'm surprised I didn't try to parlay that for a half unit. I had Baltimore -8.5 first half, Houston -1.5 first half. The Houston one was definitely a sweat, but both of them came through. So all in all, that was a 2.7 unit profit just on those two, or sorry, a 3-unit profit just on those 2 games. Arizona -6 and Houston money line were another couple big bets I made. Those came through. Unfortunately, I put a lot of stake in some futures hedges that I bet. A lot of those games were hedges. Like Houston was a hedge, Arizona was a hedge from a futures bet I made. I parlayed a couple of them, and I was 1 leg short. It was a money line parlay, 5 legs. It was the Arizona Cardinals. It was the Tampa Bay Bucks, or no, it was the LA Chargers, Arizona Cardinals, Cincinnati Bengals, the Houston Texans, and then I want to say the 5th leg was, God, I forget I wanted to say the 5th leg was Green Bay or something like that. But anyways, I went 4 for 5. The Chargers being the 1 leg that killed me, but that would have been a 7-1 parlay. Boosted to 9-1. Would have basically broke me even on my futures portfolio. So now I'm out essentially 4 fucking futures bets. Only one of them I managed the middle.
Yeah, I'm not doing well with the futures either. I literally, it's bad. When I just had my first futures bet of the year come in, the Chicago Bears to miss the playoffs.
Yeah.
Got 3.5 units back on a 2-unit bet. So that was nice.
I had a unit and a half on that, so that was nice to see come through. I've had a couple futures come in, but there's a lot right now in the red and not looking too great. Oh, speaking of, I know for futures bettors, David Montgomery bettors, I am so sorry. 750.5 was the line. He ended the season on IR at 750 rushing yards.
Oh my God, that's the worst beat, and that's the worst beat of the year. Holy shit!
Do you want to hear what the second worst beat is?
What?
Not that I deserve sympathy. I probably deserve a incinerator for this too. Kirk Cousins passing yards, 3,800.5 yards. He has now been benched for Michael Penix Jr. with 3 games left. He is currently 3,500.
Well, he may play again before the year's out.
We'll see. But
so you bet Kirk Cousins over?
Yep.
That's funny because I bet Kirk Cousins under and was celebrating today.
Well, at least one of us won. Can't be too mad.
Well, at the end of the day, one of us will find a way to win that. And speaking of the Caser contest, one of us is winning the Caser contest, and it's not you anymore.
No, it is not.
Up
we go
one
into a
with 3 weeks
tiebreaker.
left.
I gave you the tiebreaker because we both were on Atlanta, so it only made sense. But yeah, that was just unfortunate. But
Was it tough?
for me, it was.
All
Now
right,
we're on to weeks. We're on to
yeah,
weeks.
let's start recapping some of these games. I'll let you know when we get to my Donko pick of the week.
I had a couple Donkos. We're gonna start. Honestly, you know what? This is Cinny half. We're gonna do half a Cinny here just because this is Donko. This was my best bet of the week to open the show last Friday.
Boy.
Washington 20, New Orleans 19. Jaden Daniels coming off the bye. 2 touchdowns, 226, 25 for 31. That looks like rookie of the year numbers, personally. Terry McLaurin, 2 touchdowns. That looks pretty damn good, if I must say. Let's look at the scoring summary. They went up 14-0 into the half. Went up 17-0 within the third. And then after that, the Saints started coming back. They put Spencer Rattler in. Spencer Rattler, for some reason, gets like a dead cat bounce because Alvin Kamara scores. Washington gets a field goal. And then all of a sudden, here come the Saints. They start coming back. And then 5 minutes to go, Commies miss a field goal. And I remember watching it miss. And I was like, there goes my cover. I was like, there it goes. Because he makes that field goal. There's a chance I get the cover. But no. What ends up happening? Spencer Rattler and the Saints, they drive the ball down. They score a late touchdown. By the way, did you see the clock mishap by the refs? I don't know if you.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
So yeah, if the clock froze at 9 seconds, so there was about a 3-second delay between when they stopped the clock. They don't catch it though, so they give Spencer Rattler one more throw. He gets the touchdown. They go for 2. Sweep right, random throw. He misses it. Saints lose. So it's weird because Coach Rizzi of the Saints does the right thing and goes for 2. He has nothing to lose. What the fuck was that last minute play call? What was that play call though? Like what the fuck was he thinking?
They always want to roll out in the red zone, but you take away half the field when you do that. Unless you're like Josh Allen, and we'll get to him. But yeah, you roll out, you take away half the field, it makes it easier for the defense. And look, perfect loss for the Saints. Competitive loss, came back, showed fight, but they get the loss, which is always good for draft position. Washington's no good. Washington they are free falling. That's what they're doing. They are no good. They're going to be the team, I could tell you now, I don't care who they're playing. They are an auto fade first round of the playoffs. Complete auto fade. This team's one and done. If they play Tampa and Tampa is like less than Tampa might be a 3-point favorite at home or something, Tampa Bay might be my best bet of the playoffs. Tampa
I don't think they covered
week 1.
They haven't covered 3 of I think it's like 4 of their last 5 they haven't covered. I could be wrong. They've lost 3 of their last 5, that's for sure. You probably can make the argument they should have lost to the Saints here, personally.
That might be my first ever mortgage bet. If Washington's especially if Washington's a favorite in the playoffs.
I mean, let's think about it. Who are they going to be favored against? Let me pull the playoff picture up real quick.
Seattle, maybe, if Dino's hurt.
They're the 7th seed, so they're going to be number 2 against. Oh God, it could be Philly.
Oh, never mind. Okay,
Philly. Well, it's a 3-way tie for the record. Could be Detroit. Could be Philly. Could be Minnesota. But they're going to be on the road. They're going to be a road dog.
God, they're really the 7th seed? That's how far fucking they've fallen.
Oh, and by the way, Dallas they are not too far behind them. Dallas is 6-8. Commies are only 9-5. With 3 games left, they do play each other one more time, and the Commanders have another matchup against Philly next week. Yep. So keep your eyes peeled on that one, folks.
Yep, absolutely.
Next up, shit game of the 1 o'clock slate. Cincinnati 37, Tennessee 27. So why was this Mansamnn, I'll let you talk. Why was this the shit game of the week?
I mean, I don't know. I didn't watch it. It was terrible. No, I mean, it was terrible. Like, Cincinnati got off slow and then Levis started throwing interceptions, and Cincinnati came back. And, Cincinnati's no good. They're a mediocre team. They beat up a shit team. Mason Rudolph came into the game. Will Levis got benched for like the third time this year. Tennessee sucks. Tennessee is like, did the Sharps bet Tennessee again?
I don't think they did.
The Sharps are stupid enough to bet them anymore.
I don't think they did, but I don't think they really advertised the Bengals either. I'm pretty sure the line was 4.5, so I think they did say to take Tennessee, but I know I sure shit did. I know I bet that number. It hit, so I'm just glad that came through. What I'm not glad about is how Joe Burrow threw 2 really shit interceptions.
Oh, yeah. That didn't help either.
How the Bengals were down 14-7. The second pick was to a fat boy. Fat boy runs it to the other side of the field. And then Will Levis just remembers he's a backup XFL quarterback. Forgets how to play football. And then the Bengals just take advantage of it. 4 unanswered scores to go from 14-7 to 31-14 going into the fourth.
Oh, and can we please cut the bullshit? Cincinnati's a playoff team. I'm starting to hear that, and it's really just annoying me.
Cincinnati is a playoff team. Well, Cincinnati is currently dead last on the bubble at 10th. So here, I'll give you the playoff probability numbers. So going into this week against Cleveland, if they win, they have a 7% chance to make the playoffs going into week 17. If they lose, they're all but eliminated.
And to be quite honest with you, I don't think they're beating Denver. I don't think they're going to beat. I think Denver's better than them.
I think Denver's better than them too, but Denver on the road, it'll be a back-to-back road spot. It'll be very interesting.
Yeah, I kind of hope Denver loses Thursday because then Denver will be like a 5-point underdog against Cincinnati and they'll win outright.
That could be a point. That could be a point to make. By the way, Cincinnati too. The Denver-Cincinnati game has officially been flexed to Saturday. So it will be another standalone primetime game.
Oh, even better. Denver, long rest. Cincinnati, short rest. Even better. Looking good.
Yep. So with that said, I got nothing else here. Will Levis sucks. Mason Rudolph sucks. Titans play the Colts next week. I don't even know if I want to handicap that game. I may just go take a piss while... Literally, we'll put the game up on the screen. We'll each go take a piss.
Honestly, yeah.
Jose Monclova, love the background, buddy. Bengals playing flag football after this season. Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree with that. Wait,
isn't that the new Pro Bowl now? The new fucking flag football bullshit?
Yeah, Joe Burrow could be the Pro Bowl MVP.
He'll still find a way to get a concussion, too. Or tear his shoulder. Who the fuck knows? I have no faith in the fucking Bengals. There's just no fucking way I'm backing the Bengals again. They're 7.5-point favorites against Cleveland next week with Dorian Thompson-Robinson. I'm still not going to bet.
God, could they really blow that game? Oh,
we'll find the fuck out. Moving on. Miami 12, Houston 20. Houston covers as a 2.5 favorite. This actually, I said the last game was the shit game of the week because of all the 10 turnovers.
To be fair, the 1 o'clock games were all shit. All the 1 o'clock games were terrible.
10 turnovers. By the way, last point, 10 turnovers in the Bengals-Titans game. 10.
That's disgusting, man.
All right.
Yeah, the Bengals are a playoff team.
Yeah, okay. All right, yeah, so are the Miami Dolphins, too, even though they lost. So the Texans did clinch the playoffs, though. They will be the AFC South. They are the AFC South champions. Really bad game for Tua. 3 interceptions, under 200 yards. Despite that, though, I've heard a lot of fucking sports analysts talking. I don't know what to make of this Houston Texans team. It just seems like when they're a small favorite, that's the only real time you can bet them. Sometimes even as a dog, depending on who it is. But otherwise, I have no fucking grip on what
Stroud has been so bad this year. CJ Stroud has taken such a step back. And in this game, it's just, Tua on the road. We've seen this story before. They underperformed. Houston's defense did enough. But, yeah, C.J. Stroud's been so bad they can't win by any margin. I don't know what it is with that offense, man. They are just not that good. You see sometimes, like, they really struggle. If they don't run the ball, they really have trouble. I don't know, man. C.J. Stroud, big step back. I don't know why.
Yep. We got Tyreek Hill on Netflix Racing Olympics. I mean, will the buffering though? Like, will the buffering get in the way? Or are we just going to freeze frame him like mid stride? I'm actually very concerned with Netflix picking up fucking the Baltimore Houston game on Christmas. Like
yeah, if it's like that Mike Tyson fight, we'll see half the game and the other half will be.
Maybe they'll freeze frame on Lamar's ass cheeks instead of Tyson's. But
oh yeah, MVP Lamar.
Yeah, no, C.J. Stroud, 131 pathetic passing yards.
Yeah, he's if there was an award for like disappointment player of the year, like they were talking about C.J. Stroud taking the next step, becoming elite. Not even close.
Yeah, he's elite like Joe Flacco was elite.
Yeah, he's going the wrong way.
And mind you, I'm a Broncos fan, but like I live in Maryland, so like I've lived here most of my life, and all I heard from Marylanders is, well, Joe Flacco is an elite Hall of Fame guaranteed. And I'm like, well, they're debating on Eli making the fucking Hall of Fame, and he won 2 Super Bowls against Brady.
To be fair, though, for the most part, Joe Flacco was just like mid. He wasn't a detriment to his team. C.J. Stroud, I mean, this is a team that lost to the Jets. So you can't say
He's lost to the Jets twice now, I believe.
Yeah,
he lost to Zach Wilson. He lost a backup quarterback for the Denver Broncos, Zach Wilson.
He really lost to 2 backup quarterbacks, Zach Wilson and Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, that's for sure. All right, what's next on the list? It looks like we got Kansas City 21, Cleveland 7. Speaking of backup quarterbacks, Jameis Winston has officially been benched. Dorian Thompson-Robinson will make his 3rd NFL career start, or at least it's the 3rd time he's been announced as a starter, unlike, anyone else that's relevant.
Can the Bengals defense be that bad? Can they give up 20 to DTR? That's the real question.
Patrick Mahomes, 2 touchdowns, 159 yards. He injured his ankle, high ankle sprain late in the 4th. This is another just bad 1:00 game. But again, I think the handicap we gave was that Kansas City doesn't cover, but this number's low enough. You're buying them as low as you can. Yeah. You tried tricking me in the fucking episode to switch to Cleveland. I even teased Cleveland up to 10.5 in a 3-legger. A lot of good that fucking did me.
I told you not to. I told you. Yep. No, Kansas City was the play.
Zach Wilson, more wins than Aaron Rodgers. That is true.
That is true. That is so true. And some might say, honestly, there are talks in Jet circles that Aaron Rodgers has been at least as bad, if not worse, than Zach Wilson.
We'll see. It's been worse only because he really can't scramble. The problem was when Zach Wilson scrambled, he tended to get sacked every time. Rodgers seems to at least be able to sometimes make a play, although for 1 yard. By
the way, Patrick Mahomes was a full participant in practice, so he may play this week. I don't really know why, because they could very easily give up this game. But Kansas City, they were way under bet at 4.5 last week. So that was so predictable, and that was a predictable result. And we were on it, so good for us.
Yeah, good for us. And it was kind of like you said, it was very much a buy low spot for Kansas City, sell high on a Browns team that was still fucking finding ways to lose. Even in that Monday Night Football against us, when Jameis did have his best game, a lot of people just kind of put in the back burners, oh yeah, he threw 2 pick sixes. Oh yeah, he almost threw a 3rd pick six when Denver should have blown the cover. But he ruined that. And now all of a sudden, oh yeah, let's run to the Bucks. Let's bet him to cover 4 against Patrick Mahomes. That's going to be smart. That's going to be profitable ever. Here's another line that's profitable. How about you want to bet the Carolina Panthers as a favorite? First time in 30.
All over them, too. All over them.
The first time in 30 games, almost 2 seasons, the Panthers first time favored, and they lose outright. I don't have too many comments for this game. All I can say is that, like, the main thing that comes to my mind, Bryce Young remembered who he was. 2 interceptions, 19 for 28. Did go 2 for 19. The one main thing that I will have to say I give Dallas credit for, they stopped the run. They held Chuba Hubbard to only 34 yards. 32 yards. When Carolina couldn't run the ball and when they couldn't adjust the field to the position they wanted, Bryce Young just really seemed to struggle. Very basic defensive scheme, but Dallas seemed to pick up on it real quick and early in the game. And that just, to me, is what they did it for him. And let's be honest, the battle of backup quarterbacks, Cooper Rush or Bryce Young.
Here's what I'll say about this game. Yeah, I agree with that. Here's what I'll say about
2015.
And I like that comment because that segues into the handicap. Dallas, mediocre team, 6-8, coming off a loss. Carolina played competitive games against the Chiefs, Eagles. I forgot maybe one other team, but Chiefs and Eagles come to mind. Two teams that basically, like, it was their trap game. They didn't care. They were close. Dallas is better than Carolina, and it was that simple. You're getting the better team plus points. It was an easy play, and all those short bettors that convinced themselves Carolina was good, they're ish for life. And Bryce Young, I'm sorry, if you think Bryce Young is going to be a franchise quarterback, telling you it's not going to happen. That is
No.
He went from a mediocre NFL backup to now a starting caliber XFL quarterback.
I think if you're Carolina, it's like what you say with me with Bo Nix whenever I get pissed. You have to like what you see. You have to think the future's bright. I think with what you've seen with Bryce Young lately, you have to hold on to some sort of hope. But they're still losing, which I think is the best case for the Tepper family. I think they want Bryce Young to look good so they can just keep him, have a starting rookie quarterback, and they'll just go draft another guy.
Did you just compare Bo Nix to Bryce Young?
No. I'm comparing the sentiment of the
optimism. I was going to say you might have to take the Denver stuff.
No. What I was saying is, like, if you're the Tepper family in Carolina, like, you have to be somewhat optimistic that Bryce Young is kind of coming out of his shell finally. But you're also still losing, which means you're going to get a higher draft pick.
It kind of reminds me of what happened with Caleb Williams, where he had a couple decent games and now is trash again.
Exactly. I think that's an even better comparison, if you ask me. But not much else to take away from this game. Dallas, I want to say they played Tampa on Sunday Night Football, so they're back in primetime. They are also back at home, where they do tend to struggle, and Tampa's going to be on a back-to-back road spot.
Well, it was fun while it lasted for Dallas. I don't have high hopes for them in that game. Tampa's playing some really good football.
Last comment. Thanks, Jose. Bryce Young is too short, can't see the field. I don't think he can see the salary cap either.
I'll tell you, Jose is bringing it tonight. I like that.
We love the fan engagement. All few listeners that enjoy, we will always engage.
That is funny.
All right. What do I got next on the list here? Oh yeah, here we go. This is what I thought would be the shit game, but it turns out was actually one of the games of the week. Actually, it was a lot more intense than we thought.
Oh, come on. No, it wasn't. Come on. Game of the week.
Come on, go ahead. This is your second favorite team to roast. So
are you out of your fucking mind? Game of the week.
I thought it was a good game. I'm not going to lie to you.
It was interesting. It was two teams
back and forth.
Two teams playing for tank position.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers decided that this is. I mean, if you want to listen to a really funny live stream for football games, go to Let's Talk Jets, or it's Let's Talk Jets Radio.
Let's Talk Jets Radio. Yeah, they're hilarious.
I was watching that during the Jets game, and they're literally this is the game. Aaron Rodgers, he'll throw for almost 300 yards. He'll score 3 touchdowns. They'll win, and he'll be like, "Yeah, I'm ready to come back to New York." And what happened? Well, he threw for 289. He did throw 3 touchdowns.
I mean, to be fair, 198 of that was to Devontae Adams. I mean, it was just so predictable. And Jacksonville, I'll give Mac Jones credit. He played a decent game. He's maybe sticking around in the league. But what else are you really going to say? It was an ugly game, two bad teams. The time management by the Jets at the end of the game was terrible. But, other than that, what's the takeaway for this game? This feels like a Rodgers game where, and you could tell this is why I was on the Jets and it didn't look good for a while. This was the game where Aaron Rodgers was like, enough's enough. I'm not going to lose to this team. And that's kind of what it was.
That's actually, I don't know, man. Like, because Aaron Rodgers said that about a lot of other teams, and he still found ways to lose. And even if he didn't find the way to lose, it felt like that it was the defense that was going to make him lose. This felt like a game to me, like, as I was watching it. All I could say was, like, the Jets are going to they're going to find a way to blow this. They're going to let Mac Jones look like a real NFL quarterback. And in a way they did, but then in another sense, the Jags remembered who they were. They're losers. And they were just like, fuck it. What are we playing for? We don't care. Let Aaron Rodgers have his day. And that's kind of that's the vibe I got from this one.
Yeah, well, their defense has been bad all year. And I think Devontae Adams had maybe like his 300th NFL touchdown reception or something like maybe, or 100th NFL touchdown reception, something like that.
Now, Mansamnn, you follow New York.
Oh, I agree. This is, boy, Jose is on the money tonight. You are 100% right. Fool's gold. Aaron Rodgers is done. He's had a good game against one of the worst defenses in football. I think there's a few Jets fans that want him to come back, but I think the smart Jets fans do not want Rodgers back because they know that it's going to be another offseason of crap. It's going to be another bad start to the year. And in this division, when you look at it, I mean, you're chasing the Buffalo Bills. I don't think 48-year-old Aaron Rodgers or however old he is going to be after this season, 42-year-old Aaron Rodgers is going to do it.
You know what? Maybe he can go in the forest again. Maybe he can go find himself, do another darkness retreat, go drink some ayahuasca, do some electroshock therapy, cause another ex-girlfriend to go through some trauma.
Another darkness retreat.
Yeah. Well, I think the Giants here, they need to go in a darkness retreat. 35-14 was the final. Baltimore does cover. If you did bet the ladder train all the way up on the spread, I think it opened at 14.5. It ended at 17. You could have hammered it all the way up to 20.5. It would have hit. So hopefully you didn't go too far into it. But yeah, not much again. Not much really to take away. Giants suck.
DeVito got killed. And just real quick, the MVP Lamar Jackson after beating up on a hapless Giants team. Come on, guys.
If he beats Pittsburgh next week, are you reconsidering that argument?
No, because Josh Allen's the MVP, because Josh Allen's doing stuff like, I mean, the difference is Lamar Jackson's numbers are good. I'm not going to bash him and say his numbers are bad or anything, that he's having a bad year. But when you look at what Josh has done like the last 4 games, like he's doing shit that like nobody in NFL history has been doing.
He's literally throwing a ball, having it lateral back to him, and then rushing for a touchdown in the same play.
So, I mean, again, but it's these stupid narratives that, you know what Baltimore needs to do? They need to find a way to beat Pittsburgh. And by the way, I can already tell you, I'm going to give it away. Guess who my dog of the week is going to be? The Ravens, again, are 6-point favorites against Pittsburgh. I just don't understand it for the life of me. I just don't get it.
I think part of it is I don't know how to.
But don't they watch these teams play? Don't they watch these teams play and like every game is a 2-point game?
I mean, usually, yeah. It's a system play. Josh Allen is not fucking.
Oh, yeah. Wait till we get to the Bills game.
No, I can't even. I've seen Josh Allen play twice, and one of those times it makes me.
There you go.
Makes me wonder. All I can say is, like, for Baltimore, it's like, yeah, Lamar came off of a literal perfect game, but you're 100% right. You beat up a really, really bad fucking Giants team. There's just like that. Like, I think a lot of quarterbacks who would do that. I think if they eventually beat Pittsburgh in that same fashion, if they go into week 17, do the same thing, go into the playoffs, whoever they go up against, have a perfect game. I mean, maybe then you could reconsider the narrative, but
again,
I think at this point,
look,
16.
Again, Allen, he's getting 5-6 touchdowns against the Rams, Lions, and Niners.
Yeah, Russ Gold-Fold. Yeah, that's goddamn, this guy is hitting it on the head every single fucking
Telling
game.
you, Jose
this guy needs to join us, I swear.
Yeah, Jose.
No, I mean, Russ looked good. Everybody was like, damn, it looks like Mike Tomlin knows what he's talking about. And now all of a sudden, like, Russell Wilson just fucking folding.
Well, I think he's got that Broncos logo. If Jose's a Broncos fan, he knows you're paying. But Russell Wilson, the thief. How does it feel that you're paying Russell Wilson to go to the playoffs with the Steelers?
Honestly, I've said this before. It's not as bad because Sean Payton was right and he got a Bo Nix, which was, like I told you before, like, picking Bo Nix as early as he did was the smartest thing he ever did. Because if it works out, he's going to look like the biggest genius. If it didn't work out, the man's not going to be in a job in 2 years, and then we're back to square one. And then we're only paying for Russell Wilson to suck. But no, he looks good. We have a winning record for the first time ever, and it's a perfect segue because that's the next game. Denver 31, Indy 13. Denver does get the cover.
God, how did you guys cover this game? I'll let you go, but yeah.
Yeah, first of all, listen, Bo Nix, he is my new Lord and Savior as a Broncos fan. I am a believer, but fuck this kid for ruining my goddamn fantasy playoff championship, or not championship, for ruining my playoff match. 13 fucking points. Unacceptable. 3 interceptions in that game, too. 3 really bad plays. Which, first of all, like, 2 of them, that's Bo Nix's fault. The second one, what the fuck was offensive coordinator Joe Lombardi thinking? 3rd and 1. You could hand it off to the halfback. No, let's run a play-action deep throw into triple coverage. That's the Joe Lombardi method. Why the fuck would we run it, even though we don't have really any running backs? Why the fuck would we do that when we could just have Bo Nix huck and heave it 40 yards down to the other team? 3 weeks in a row I've had to see him do this.
Steve, this is how I know I've rubbed off on you. Only you in a game where Denver covers the spread by, 15 points, basically is now a 95% to make the playoffs. Only you, after a game like that, could bitch and complain about the Broncos. I've turned you. I've turned you evil. I've turned you crazy.
Bo Nix had the worst outing in his career so far. That is what I'm pissed off about.
Thankfully, though, they were playing Anthony Richardson, who's...
Yes. Now, again, that's what I'm pissed off about. Bo Nix, against this shit of a team, you cannot perform like that. The minute we hit the playoffs, you are going to be a one-and-done team if you perform like that. Denver, once again, first half flop. You cannot keep doing that. You need to at least keep pace like you did in the Cleveland game, or you need to romp these teams like you did against every NFC South team. Now, having said that, I agree. Jose, defense is a gladiator. Bonito is Superman. Nick Bonito is goddamn Superman. This guy, back-to-back games, pick sixes. He is my new Lord and Savior for the Denver Broncos. I just...
That was a hell of a play. That was a hell of a play.
Really? Like,
stupid call, but hell of a play to pick that off.
It was a smart read by Nick Bonito, and that's the credit you got to give him, because he could have gone after the man, but he read Anthony Richardson. He read the play the minute it was going off. That's how he ended up with the pick six. He didn't just pick it off the throw. There were 3 guys right behind him, and he had the wherewithal to just turn and go. He didn't.
Let's be honest. How many meatheads are just going to go and try and break Richardson's jaw there? The fact that he had the wherewithal to go for the football. I mean, let's be honest. We've seen it before. How many times are they just looking for a big shot to be on SportsCenter?
Yep.
That was a very smart play.
And Denver's defense, like, here's what I'll say. We played a very similar game against the LA Chargers back in week 6. Here was the difference. Denver's defense turned it around. Pat Surtain, too, stayed in the entire game. He didn't get concussed in this one. Not his fault. But he also got a pick in that game where he took it from Anthony Richardson. Where Bo Nix was failing, Denver's defense stepped up huge and got us this win. Also, thank you, Jonathan Taylor, for dropping the fucking ball on the half-yard line. Thank you for turning the game over, you dipshit.
That changed the whole game. I think Denver scored 24 unanswered after that.
Yep, Bo free throwing. It's Sean Payton's fault. I blame him and the offensive coordinator. I just because he is good with the deep ball, but like you can't do it every third fucking down. There's just no originality to it. That's been my biggest complaint. But now my biggest compliment for Denver is, like I said, they are so clutch in the turnovers. And again, like the Chargers game, the one key difference was there was a turnover play in their own red zone back in week 6. What ended up happening was the refs ruled Justin Herbert down. They kicked a 3. There goes momentum. This time around, Taylor drops the ball. We get the ball back. Game just flips. But it was a very, very similar game. Except Denver is a much better reactionary team in this.
And look, good teams take advantage of that. Like, at the end of the day, I mean, it was a big mistake, and losing teams like the Colts make those mistakes. But it also takes a winning team to take advantage of it. So you don't apologize for wins.
No, you don't. I hope I get an apology for those 3 interceptions from Bo Nix. I mean, he just fucking cost me the fantasy playoffs, but I'll let it go. If we can get to the actual playoffs, then I'll forget all about this.
If you play Goff, you would have gotten in. Let's be real.
No running game. It's pissing me. Yeah, I love how we fucking kept Jaleel McLaughlin. I love how we kept Javonte Williams. He's supposedly the RB1, but we never see him.
Yeah, what the hell happened to Javonte Williams? He went downhill fast.
Well, I'll tell you what happened. We got Bo Nix, and they were like, oh, just throw it 30 yards on third down every time.
Even Javonte Williams, when I've seen him, he looks like slow. I don't know if he's hurt or something.
No, I think he's just – I think Denver's O-line is built for the pass. I think the rushing O-line, they're just not built for it. I don't know how else to explain it. Because it doesn't seem to matter who we have in the backfield. I mean, at least we don't have fucking Melvin Bumfuck Gordon who fucking fumbled the ball every 5 plays. Like, that's a godsend. Like, that's a godsend compared to, like...
I missed Melvin Gordon. Those were fun recap
yeah, there you go.
videos.
Definition of Melvin Gordon. Ass.
I missed those days, the Melvin Gordon recaps. Those were fun times.
There's a reason I drank.
Those were fun.
I'll leave it at that. All right, next up. New England 17, Arizona 30, minus 6.5 for Arizona.
Nothing for this game.
You got nothing for this one?
What are you going to say? It's New England. They're bad. There you go. Arizona, Arizona is the definition of a mediocre team. They've lost a couple. This is like so predictable again. I think I bet Arizona minus 6.5, easy win. What are you going to say? They beat up on these mediocre teams. New England is playing out the string. They're no good.
I'll say this. Just because I think this is the definition of the Arizona Cardinals. Can they run the ball? Is the defense going to stop the rush? If the answer is yes, you bet the other team. If the answer is no, you can't stop James Conner, well, he's going to run all over you and get 2 touchdowns.
Yeah,
like he did in this game.
That's fair.
Like, that's really my only takeaway.
I don't know. Arizona, they remind me a little bit of Dallas. Just feels like a mediocre team, just not very good. Just like, okay. You like them against bad opponents. You're not going to back them against anybody good.
I mean, I don't know because I remember. I think it was the COVID season. You backed them when they were playing the Rams every week, and I was like, "What the hell are you doing?" Like, I don't know. I think there's spots where like you do back them, and this is one of those spots. To me, Arizona is one of those teams. They're a lot like the Rams. There's just certain spots you back them, and there's other spots you just avoid it every time. All right, our homie Jose, Cardinals up and down team, hit on the money. So yeah.
Oh, good. Yep, good.
That's good for us. So we're on the right path.
Good.
If we're on the same page as Jose, we're doing something right.
Yeah, no, they're such an up and down team. They annoy me.
Well, it's like you said, they beat up shit teams. There's certain spots they show up. And then there's certain spots where they remember their ass. That's really all there is to it.
They took the bus. They took the bus this week.
they took the bus. They didn't get off. They did get off the bus this week. We'll see if they get off the bus next week. Oh boy, Tampa 40, Chargers 17. Mansamnn, I'll defer to you. Did the Chargers fall for the Thursday look ahead, or was this more than it appeared?
I don't know. I honestly, I don't know if I call this a donkey pick. It just surprised me. I mean, Tampa Bay just looks so good.
Was this your donkey pick of the week?
No, that's Pittsburgh.
Oh yeah.
The game started out and the Bucks drove right down the field and scored. I was like, oh, okay, that's not a great start, but it's early. Chargers came back and scored, and you're like, okay, 7-7, we're good. And then Tampa went right back down the field and scored again, and I was like, oh, no. I got a bad feeling about this game. And I'll tell you what, this is the game I thought Tampa would lose. Tampa could win out the rest of the year because they got Dallas, and I think maybe the Saints and the Panthers. They got a pretty easy schedule to end the year. Tampa looks like a team that could win out and be playing in the playoffs. They're hitting their stride at the right time. They're looking really good. They looked really, really good. Against the defense, I thought was good. And now Herbert coming into Thursday Night Football, gimpy, hurt the ankle. Not a good time for the Chargers, who suddenly are a couple losses away from making the playoffs interesting.
Yeah, Jose once ahead hitting the nail on the head. Chargers running Dobbs is everything. Yeah, this is my big takeaway. They don't have J.K. Dobbins.
Good point. That's a good point.
J.K. Dobbins. They cannot move this ball. I mean, I heard I think it was Steve Fezzik. I could be very wrong in that one, but I heard it on one of his shows. One of the things he mentioned was think about it 2 years ago when Justin Herbert was injured and Keenan Allen was out and Austin Eckler was out and they had no tight end. This wasn't a team you would bet on. Well, let's look at it now. What was their only weapon? It was J.K. Dobbins. He's out. Now we're betting on injured Justin Herbert with Will Dissly, Quentin Johnson, who can't catch COVID. Even if he went to Wuhan, he couldn't get it. Ladd McConkey is looking like he's starting to catch a stride slowly but surely, but I mean, rookie wide receiver. The point I'm making is the Chargers offense is a severe downgrade from what it used to be. And it's starting, I think this late in the season, it's starting to show.
I wonder the loss of the running back was big. You just wonder if maybe the talent's catching up with the coaching.
Well, and that's going to be my next point. Look at who the Chargers really have played, and I'm talking about at the quarterback position. I'll just give you the last few. Mahomes on Sunday Night Football, that's always going to be a close game. Kirk Cousins when he threw 4 interceptions. They lost to Baltimore.
Let's be honest, he just got benched for Michael Penix.
So start with that. Lamar Jackson beat them on Monday Night Football. They almost lost to Joe Burrow and the Bengals, but the Bengals defense is such ass that they gave it up. Honestly, I'm still looking. And I really had to figure out who the fuck are these quarterbacks? Was it Spencer Rattler and the Saints? He beat them?
They beat up on the Saints with a backup quarterback.
Let's see here. Cleveland, that was Deshaun Watson, I think.
Yeah, that was Deshaun Watson.
Will Levis and the Titans. Oh, no, that was Jameis. That was a Jameis game. Threw 3 interceptions. They lost to Kyler Murray.
Don't remind me. I'm still better about that loss.
They lost to Justin Fields. They beat Bryce Young, Gardner Minshew. I mean, I think I made my point. Herbert has not beaten a legitimate NFL quarterback this year. Let's see, Jose. All the years Herbert has to throw the ball, he loses game with no run. Yeah.
I got to say, Herbert is probably the most overrated player in football. I mean, he is so overrated.
He's up there.
Justin Herbert is not good.
I'm just trying to think, who is this Chargers team really beaten all year? That was impressive. I can't name one.
Denver.
Funny.
No, but I mean, literally, like, that might be the best team they've beaten all year.
Kansas City?
Chargers didn't beat Kansas City.
Yeah, that's true. They didn't. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're really looking at that.
Denver might be their most impressive win, honestly. They beat the Falcons, I think, didn't they?
Yeah, that was the Kirko 4 interception game. Yeah, honest to God, that's crazy to think that Denver's loss in week 6 is the best win Justin Herbert has this year.
Yeah, I think you could say that. You can make that argument.
I think it's a very valid argument, quite frankly. I can't name another one that was just as good. Credit to the Bucks though, and Baker Mayfield getting their shit together in the second half. And again, I don't know if this is like really good Bucks win, or is this another Justin Herbert second half flop? Like, how many times have we seen that game?
I don't know, man. They did put up 40 on that defense. Bucks are a team that's catching fire at the right time.
Yeah.
They got to keep it going, but they're looking pretty good, especially on offense.
Can't argue with that. All right, next up, Pittsburgh 13, Philly 27. Philly gets the win and the cover. The sidelines are apparently still fucking fighting. Couldn't tell you why, but
time for some medicine, buddy.
Oh boy, here we go. Money Mansamnn is taking his medicine. This is his donkey pick of the week.
Oh, and by the way, I did a player prop, AJ Brown under receiving yards. What a fucking idiot. Of course, he complains. You know they're going to force feed him the ball. But I was just doing it too quick and wasn't thinking. And I'm like, oh, against Pittsburgh, he's not going to do well. So, medicine time.
Oh, don't worry. I bet Pittsburgh as well. So I'll join you in this venture. And Jose and anyone else that watches, this is Cinerator. Don't know if you've ever had it. It is 90 proof cinnamon whiskey. It is Fireball on steroids. At room temperature, it tastes like liquid piss.
Wait till you see the face he makes. It's going to be brutal. But I'm a firm believer that the only way you... Oh, there you go. Oh, God. No, we couldn't do it. No, I'm a firm believer that the only way you do better in the future is by taking corrective action. You need to... You know, it's like Pavlov's dog. You need to learn that if you make stupid picks, it's not going to go well. And Pittsburgh was... It was just, if you think about it, the play was, oh, well, the Eagles' locker room's imploding.
They're winning, though. That was the problem.
The problem is we didn't factor in Philadelphia's defense is good, and it's Russell Wilson, and we should have known better.
Yeah, I'm ready to give the Russell Wilson numbers whenever you're ready.
Yeah, well, how did our boy Russ do?
Russ cooked some shit. 14 for 22. 128 passing yards. 1 passing touchdown. 2 Pat Freiermuth.
Terrible performance. Yeah. The Eagles, somehow Jalen Hurts had 290 yards or 280 yards.
A.J. Brown had a day.
Yeah, A.J. Brown, over 100 yards receiving, 8 receptions, touchdown. So, I guess it was predictable. God, Saquon Barkley didn't even play that well. And it didn't matter. So, one of the rare Mike Tomlin losses is an underdog against the spread.
Well, I mean, here's the one thing
I just want you to, if you're watching, think about how stupid this is. So, Pittsburgh was a 5.5-point underdog at Philly. They're now, I've seen 6, potentially 6-point underdog in Baltimore. Baltimore's not as good as Philly.
It's 6.5 in FanDuel.
Oh, that's a joke. Pittsburgh Steelers best bet. I mean, come on.
Bet.
Baltimore is not as good as Philly. Philly is a better football team than Baltimore.
Here's what I'm going to say. And when it comes to gambling versus picking teams, I think there's a difference. Philly, the one thing we missed on the handicap when we went over this trying to make our predictions, Philly has the locker room drama. They have the head coach drama. There's apparently drama with fucking the whole organization. It's Philadelphia, the city of brotherly bullshit. But they're winners. They've won 10 straight. So I don't know if the drama is complete bullshit or if they're just totally ignoring it and they're like, well, we're winning, so we don't have problems right now because we're winning. Now, I would love to, once Philly does lose a game, I'm very interested to see the reactions. Jose, bold prediction, but Pittsburgh Steelers are going to lose to the Ravens. He's telling you, no, you're going to lose to the Ravens.
I don't know, man. At 6.5 points, I'm telling you.
So that's my thing. Like at 6.5, when you're gambling and you're betting a point spread, the system says you take Steelers. And when I say the system, I mean you look at history, and every time, like if you were to get this number in every matchup, you're hitting gold every fucking time. But I may have to go with him. I may have to say, like, the Ravens, if you can get it at -6, that's a perfect teaser leg. Just take it down to the money line.
I'm kind of unhappy that Jose is against me because he's been spot on with his takes. So
although the Steelers have won 4 of their last 5 against Baltimore, so it is a weird spot.
Yeah, but it isn't Baltimore. I mean, we liked it in Pittsburgh.
Right.
But it isn't Baltimore on a back-to-back road spot. I don't know, man. I just
Saturday
look at the history. Too. I think it's it's something ridiculous. Like 14 of the last 15 have been decided by like 6 points or fewer.
I have the numbers here in my handy dandy book. I'll give it out on our Friday episode when we give out our week 16 picks. So Jose, if you want to catch us then, I'll give you the actual numbers in this rivalry. We'll tell you why Money Manson's all over Pittsburgh. But with that said, we have to finally go to his favorite team. I've talked enough about mine. Oh, boy. This is the game that fucked me in fantasy. And unfortunately, me and him both picked Detroit. And Buffalo found a way to fucking...
Well, they got to get Detroit, which was good. I can't bet. I'm finding it very hard to bet against the Bills when they're good. Like, I bet against the Bills when they're bad and have won. But now that they're good, it's very hard to do that. And
90 combined points.
This game just makes me angry. Meaningless game. They're 2 back of Kansas City with 3 games left, so they're probably not going to get the 1 seed. Ready? Here's my takeaway. Josh Allen is your most valuable player. That's it. There you go. There's your takeaway. The Bills' defense is terrible. 40 points 2 straight weeks. It's not good. Jared Goff, damn near 500 yards passing, 5 touchdowns. Not good. But Josh Allen's your MVP. I think he's the first quarterback in history, 4 straight seasons with like 35 total touchdowns. He had 2 rushing touchdowns in the first quarter.
That was 8-1, by the way.
4 more. I think his last 2 games, 10 total touchdowns, no interceptions. I mean, the guy is, what can you say? The guy's your MVP. He's minus 900 now. Josh Allen's your MVP. The Bills, this is not an over-exaggeration. If Josh Allen were not the quarterback of the Bills, this team would be below 500. That's how good he is.
I can't disagree with that.
This team has no receivers. Their receiving core is a bunch of nobodies. Their tight ends have been mediocre. All lines played well. Their running back's good. Their defense is, the past 2 weeks has been god-awful.
Oh, Tyler Bass missed another field goal, by the way, while you were talking.
Oh, my God. Tyler Bass, I hate Tyler Bass. He's the only guy who, he fucking shanks a 26-yarder and then hits a 50-yard field goal like it's nothing. He pisses me off so much. And my sister loves him. She's like the biggest Tyler Bass fan. I don't even know.
Detroit take the Rams. Know they're going to beat Detroit because the Lions might start falling because the defense is banged up. Yeah,
the defensive injuries for the Lions. That's another takeaway. They are decimated.
Yeah, that's the sad thing is that I don't know if Josh Allen has this big of a game. If Anzalone, if Hutchinson is on the field for Detroit, I think you can make the argument like the Bills don't score as much and they lose.
Plus, too, remember there was that onside kick that they did that kind of inflated the scores a bit. So, the Bills played prevent at the end of the game.
Oh, and don't forget David Montgomery, as I mentioned earlier, he's now on IR, out for the year. That was a big miss.
Thankfully, though, he was on the field long enough to get over 16 and a half receiving yards, which is what I bet. So,
hey, there you go. God, what the hell is... So I'm pissed off that Jared Goff decided to have his best game. I literally picked a quarterback who had the worst game. Why did you not play
Jared Goff against the Bills defense? Did you not see them give up 44 points last week?
Yeah, but if you look, a lot of that was Kyron Williams, and half of it was on the ground. Jared Goff has been...
It's not like the Lions have a good running game or anything. Oh wait,
well, they do, but like that doesn't equate to Jared Goff. Like, to be fair, I thought comparing the matchups, I was like, look, at best, Jared Goff throws 3 touchdowns, does the same thing that Bo Nix would do against a shit Colts defense. Bo Nix throws 3 interceptions and only 130 yards. I didn't see that coming.
Oh, and by the way, I guess you didn't realize Kyrie Elam and Cole Bishop were starting in our defensive secondary.
Yeah, that was a big mess. See, if I had known that, I probably would have changed my mind.
Even though, let's be honest, I didn't think Elam played horrible. I thought the safeties were terrible.
Ty Johnson, more on offense. What do you think?
He had a hell of a game, and they saw something on the film, and a Bills podcaster I was listening to was mentioning it, that they clearly saw something on film that they would struggle against the running back, maybe because Anzalone wasn't playing. And yet, Ty Johnson... interesting pickup. He was a guy who was like a second stringer on the Jets, and the Bills have used him every once in a while as like a pass catching back. And yeah, I mean, he's gotten more run as the season's progressed. Ray Davis kind of taking a back seat a little bit. It wouldn't surprise me to see some Ty Johnson. We've seen him in the past for the Bills. It would not surprise me to see him more. And look, he made some crucial plays early in the game, some highlight reel plays early in the game.
I think Ty Johnson gives you depth at the running back position that you're not used to having. Like if Ray Davis goes down, you know Ty Johnson stepping in and you're going to be fine.
Yeah, and James Cook obviously still your bell cow, 2 touchdowns. Yep. Oh, and I'll leave you with this. Josh Allen chest pass touchdown called back. A chest pass touchdown. This guy's your MVP.
Refs are terrorists. I'll leave it at that. Refs are terrorists. So is Geno Smith. Just kidding. He's not. But this is my donkey play of the week. Seattle 13, Green Bay 30. I don't even know what to say other than like I sided with the Sharps on this one. They were all over Seattle. I didn't think Green Bay was that good. Despite their record, I was just wrong. And that's what it comes down to. I overinflated Seattle. I thought they were better than their record. That was wrong. Geno Smith, the injury is real. That's a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, Green Bay just seems to be able to take advantage of it. And I even gave the numbers too. I was like, well, Green Bay's really good on Sunday Night Football. They're undefeated under Jordan Love. But I'm going to take Geno Smith. Smart fucking move.
Well, the problem was, and I think you knew this game was over.
Jose, not a Geno fan.
Not a Geno fan.
Not a Geno.
Here's what I'll say. Here's who you were picking. Josh Jacobs. This game was over early, that first drive, when Josh Jacobs basically did what he wanted. That was one of those early on. Oh, boy, this could be bad.
Yep.
And Seahawks defense kind of came back down to earth. They had no answers. It was just all around a bad game. And yeah, Gino, I hate to say it, these NFC West teams, they all feel the same. Like Seattle, they have a couple big wins. You think they're turning the corner, and then they lay an absolute donut Sunday Night Football at home. And remember, Seattle at home used to be like you print money. But not recently. They've not been good at home. I don't know. I constantly want to fade Green Bay, but I should learn that whenever I play Green Bay, they win. So I should just accept it.
By the way, Geno Smith is now officially, I think he's lost 5 of his last 6 in prime time.
Do we know who Seattle's backup is? Do they even have a backup?
Oh, yeah, I do, because there's a potential he may start next week. It is one and only former Washington Commies starting quarterback, Samuel Howell.
Honestly, Seattle might be better with him.
Did you see him in that game?
That's a good point. He needs a week to prepare.
5 for 14, 24 yards and a pick.
I mean, I said I don't want to remember. Who's Seattle playing? Do you know?
Stand by.
Oh, man.
Stand by. I want to say they're playing a decent team, but...
Oh, okay. Yeah,
I want to say, but...
I don't know. Seattle, they might have...
Oh, Minnesota.
Oh, okay. Okay, we're good.
Seagulls,
yeah.
Jose says the Seagulls are done, and the Packers are a dark horse in the NFC. Yeah, they're going to make the playoffs. They may make another NFC playoff run. I hate to say it, but they might.
I'm hearing a lot of sharps saying that the Packers are a dark horse. I think they're going to take a lot of money first round of the playoffs, especially if they're playing like the Rams. I actually think the Rams might be the NFC West representative now.
It looks like Green Bay is... Right now, Green Bay is the 6th seed, which means they would be playing, interestingly enough, at Tampa Bay. And if they're calling, I could see the Sharps being all over it.
I could see Tampa being a sizable underdog in that game.
I could too, depending on how Tampa finishes.
But yeah, enough with that game. Enough with Seattle. They're right. Fading fast.
Yeah. All right. We got Monday
Night Football. Here we go. Here's where you're going to need to explain yourself. What the fuck possessed you? What you were thinking here?
Okay.
What are you dreaming of taking Chicago in this spot? Especially after the Lions lost. Like, you knew the Lions could lose. And once the Lions lost, I had no fear in this game. I was like, oh yeah, Minnesota's going to win this easy. So what were you thinking of? What were you dreaming of in this one?
How do I explain this without sounding like a total jackass? This was me fading a spot that I thought Sam Darnold would turn into a pumpkin. And respectfully, he didn't have the best game ever. 231 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick.
But he didn't have to.
Even if he did turn into a pumpkin, like, the problem was he was still going to win this. I think what happened was I heard a lot of sharp bettors. I heard a lot of analysts coming out saying, yeah, Chicago's dead. They're done. They're giving up on the season. Caleb Williams has quit. And I was like, I don't think this is the game he does it. But if he does lose bad, then it's going to be that next week.
So you're the only person I know. All the sharps are saying the team's given up. They've quit. The quarterback has quit. Let me bet them.
There you go.
The only thing you can drink when you stupidly bet the Bears -7 against what, the second best team in the NFC?
Third.
On the road in prime time. Bro, this might be the worst pick you've had since you bet on the Vikings against the Steelers Thursday Night Football when the Steelers were a big underdog. You remember what game I'm talking about?
I do.
A couple years ago, yeah.
I just can't ever seem to get a Vikings game right. I really can't. Like,
I think you're banned from betting the Vikings. I
might.
had that happen to me last year, and now the Vikings have been like my most profitable team. Like, I think I literally am like perfect, pretty much perfect betting Vikings. Honestly, the NFC North in total has really been great for me all year.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of been the thing. Like, the NFC North has just been killing it week in and week out. And there's literally, I think what happened was I looked for a spot where, like, there may be a vulnerability. And I was thinking, well, Chicago at the time was a 7-point road divisional dog against a Vikings team with Sam Darnold, who really isn't that good. And I was thinking maybe this will be a letdown spot. The Bears have been losing a lot. They have a new interim head coach who he did look really bad the week before, but I was like, maybe with another week, they'll keep it close and respectful. But no. And now Jose's laughing at me because I'm drinking cinnamon piss because I bet on goddamn dumbass fucking fingernail wearing bitch ass boy Caleb Williams.
One day it'd be so funny. It'll never happen because we're mediocre. We're having fun. But it'd be so funny one day we get sponsored by Cinerator and you literally have to speak highly of them. Cinerator, cinnamon whiskey. This is the best whiskey. You take the drink, you're fighting back the pain.
Why rip the betting tickets when we can incinerate them with Cinerator whiskey?
I have the Blaze back there. I don't want to hit the Blaze.
You don't have to. You're a winner. That's the problem. Unlike me, I fucking lost the fucking Kaser bet against you.
Well, you haven't lost the Kaser bet yet. You're only down 1 point. I mean, there's only 3 weeks to go, so you don't have a lot of time.
Yeah, no, I mean, you know what the real thing I missed too, and this is why I really do feel like it was a donkey play. The whole God, what the hell is it? Damn it! Why did I forget his name? Randy Moss. I was gonna say Ray, and I was like,
oh yeah, that was another one.
This was the Randy Moss honor game where Randy finally not finally, but like Randy Moss announced he has cancer. They're upset.
That's a real shame, man. That's a real shame.
It is, but it sounds like he's doing good. But yeah, like this was the Randy Moss get up game. Totally missed it. Yeah, and Jose's reading everything that I'm not saying. Caleb can't read defense. Everyone's blaming the coaches. It's him. He's a rookie quarterback. He is a prima donna. But I think in the right scenario, in the right organization, like a Sean Payton who could bitch smack him in line could make a Caleb Williams look real good. The kid has immense amount of talent.
Physical talent.
He has a lot of physical talent, but he is in one of the worst football organizations I have ever seen in my life.
I have a response to that. Drake May. Drake May is in a terrible situation. You've seen positive signs. You're not seeing positive signs from Caleb Williams.
I'm not seeing positive, I mean, not energy, because I'm not trying to sound like a basic white bitch, but like, there is not a lot of positivity surrounding Caleb Williams. If you really watch him play, if you watch his like demeanor on the sidelines, he is acting like a whiny little brat, head down. Like I've seen 4-year-olds at Walmart like flop the same way I saw Caleb Williams flop on the bench in that game. That is not what I want my starting quarterback. Here's another name for you, Bo Nix. How about another one, Jaden Daniels?
Yeah. But humility. Even if you put them away, like literally, I would take Drake May over him. Like I've seen enough from Drake May.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's 100% right. That's 1,000,000% right.
You know what? Like I don't know about you, Jose, or you, Mansamnn. My thinking is that like I think he's reading too much into the defense. I think in college, like 1, 2, 3, 4, give it 5 seconds, see who opens up, make a throw. In the NFL, you can't do that. In the NFL, it has to be 1, 2, I'm scrambling or I'm throwing the ball away. And it doesn't seem like Caleb can make that decision. It just seems like, not trying to play hero ball, but it just seems like he's not reading fast enough, or he's not making a decision long enough. Because if he is reading defenses, then he's not making a decision. And that's even worse, because then you're going to get sacked 10 times like he has.
I mean, he's holding on to the ball too long, and no offense, you could say all you want about the bad situation. Cole Kmet, DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, Rome Odunze, he's got weapons. Like DeAndre Swift, he has weapons. Let's be honest, who does Drake May have in New England? Ramondre Stevenson, maybe.
Jacoby Myers.
I mean, Jaden Daniels has Terry McLaurin, Robinson, Bo Nix. Okay, Cortland Sutton, and who else? Nobody.
I mean, a bunch of rookies. Let's call it what it is.
That's all I'm saying. Like, Caleb Williams is not in a bad situation. He should be doing better.
No, Chicago. The one thing you could say about Chicago, they literally built around this kid, and he is just failing them time and time again.
Yeah, he's a bust. I'm declaring it bust. I dubbed the bust.
Now, the one thing I will say, everyone's blaming coaching. I think it's twofold. Like, part of it is Caleb Williams. Matt Eberflus needed to go, though.
Yeah, and now, let's be honest, they have a guy who was the quarterback's coach like 3 weeks ago, who's clearly in over his head. So
yeah, like he was doing fine as offensive coordinator because that was still somewhat in his realm. Now he's in charge of the defense, special teams, keeping shit together, calling timeouts, throwing shit he's not used to doing. But yeah, when Caleb Williams throws he throws the ball over to the wide receiver, that's coach's fault.
Yeah, I mean, can't find no fault with his reasoning there.
Yeah, we're not wrong, but he's definitely right.
Speaking of quarterbacks who are no longer starting,
I'm not talking about this game. I refuse to acknowledge it.
Okay.
All right, ready? Here you go. Dumbass move to end the week. Why would I bet Atlanta -3.5 when we handicap this? Why would I do that when I could wait till game time and get it -6 when I find out it's Desmond Ridder? At least it pushed, but
I mean, you didn't know it was going to be Desmond Ridder early in the week. Like,
I mean, I did, but
and let's be honest, still could have lost. They still almost blew it. God, Atlanta's so bad. Why did they just run the ball out of the 2-minute drill? I mean, I don't want to waste my energy with this.
Raheem Morris.
Kirk Cousins had like 11 completions in the game. Raheem Morris, he sucks.
Raheem Morris should they traveled to Vegas, right? Raheem Morris should have found himself lying. He should have went to the stratosphere. He should have went to the strat. He should have went to the top of the tower. He should have done the sky jump, no harness. And we should have found him on the pavement after that game. I mean, what the fuck kind of... I mean, and that's the problem. Like, we were talking about how this is all Caleb Williams' fault. Kirk Cousins is performing like shit, but you keep him in the game.
Yeah, they went to Penix like 2 weeks too late. I think you needed to... I don't know if Kirk Cousins is hurt, if he's just getting washed up. He clearly doesn't have it. And there was no excuse for that game to be close. And this game showed me that Atlanta is done. Like, you beat the Raiders by 6 with their third-string quarterback. No Max Crosby, no nothing. They're on their, 7th-string running back now. They're tanking. I mean, they're in, full tank mode. And you somehow lost. You somehow won by 6 points. Now, look, the Falcons were my best bet. It came in. We betted at 3.5, so I was right. But disappointing performance for Atlanta there.
I mean, Bijan had 125 rushing yards. That was nice. Me personally, there's no way I'm not crediting this to Kirk Cousins being hurt. If he's hurt, you get out of it. At some point, if you're the head coach, the guy's hurt. He's holding your team back. You have to pull him.
And let's be honest, if he was hurt, they wouldn't have benched him. He would have been out with whatever injury.
Yeah, he would have went to the blue tent. They would have ruled him out. They would have said non-contact injury, called it a day. But no, they kept him on the whole game. They tried running the ball the whole time, despite the fact that it barely got them points. Got them a lot of yards, didn't get a lot of points. I mean, the one thing with Vegas is, like, we know they're in free fall. They're tanking for Shedeur.
Yeah.
I mean, call it what it is. They're tanking for Shedeur.
Although I don't know why, because Shedeur is going to be a complete bust, and Cam Ward is going to be completely
This
better.
reminds me a lot of when they were talking about Aaron Rodgers going to Denver and why they hired Nathaniel Hackett. But it's like in reverse. I have a feeling that the Vegas community feels like if they draft Shedeur Sanders, they'll get Dion as a coach. The problem is I don't see Dion going anywhere out of Colorado.
I don't know why you'd want him as a coach.
The ticket sales, if I'm being quite honest.
Yeah, till they're 3-11 again. He's not good.
The one thing I will give Dion credit for, though, 2 years ago, the Colorado Buffaloes were a one-win team. This year, they're going to their first bowl game in God knows how long, and they have a Heisman Trophy winner.
Well, yeah, the Hunter is a legit
Travis
stud.
Hunter.
Yeah, Travis Hunter is a legit stud. So
I think the idea is, like, Dion can clearly – he's proven twice now he can rebuild a program and get teams back to winning.
Travis Hunter is a future draft bust for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah, maybe. But anything else on this game before we jump on the Thursday
No,
night?
let's get to we've gone on a while. Let's get to this Denver Chargers game.
All right, let's go. Denver Broncos are traveling to the Los Angeles Chargers. Thursday Night Football live on Amazon Prime. Broncos are 128 road underdog plus 2.5 on the spread. Chargers minus 152. The over-under total is 42.5. The Broncos are a public dog, meaning they're getting 56% of the bets, 57% of the money. Mansamnn, I think it technically is your turn to go first. We have one last comment from Jose. If it loads, we'll try and get it up real quick. We got technical difficulties. Mansamnn, go ahead and go first.
This game has given me couldn't blame him if he did that. They're talking about Ryan Day being gone in Ohio State, so
Can't beat Michigan.
could be. Getting back to this game, this is really tough for me. I think this is going to be a close game. 23-16 was the first game. I could see it being something close. 20-16, 21-17, 26-20, 23-20. I have an inclination that because Denver won last week, this may be the rest spot for Denver, the exhale spot, where the Chargers may come out firing. But then again, Herbert with the ankle injury, I'm really conflicted. If I had to choose, I would probably choose Chargers minus 2.5 because I just have a feeling they're going to win. And even though it's a close game, I do think it's going to be like a 3 to 7 point game. I don't see this being like a 21-20, 21-19 sort of game. I think it's going to be at least 3 points. I guess I go with the Chargers, but I'm not betting it. I have no good feeling on this game because of the Chargers' injuries. I do think they need the win more than Denver, but I don't know if they're going to get it done. I'm more curious to hear what you have to say.
I will agree with you on the last part. The Chargers need the win more than Denver right now, according to the odds on the playoff picture, which I have right here in front of me on NFL.com. Broncos currently have the 6th spot. If they lose this game, they have an 85% chance to make the playoffs. But if the Chargers lose, they're down to 73. This is one of those games you have to look at who they're looking ahead to. You have to look at the spot. You have to look at what they're coming off of. It's like all of the above. You really kind of have to handicap this as its own spot. So this is what I'm going to say. I think the Broncos need this win just as much as the Chargers. Only because I think they want to get one leg up against bitch boy, beach blonde, bitch hair Herbert. The spot is not necessarily favorable to Denver here, though. Denver's a divisional road underdog where AFC teams this year, They're only 5-14 straight up all season, despite the fact they do have an 11-7-1 ATS record. Denver 4-1 ATS in their last 5 as road underdogs, but they did lose 5 of their last 7 straight up in that spot. So your handicap of I don't see this being too close within 2 points. The stats kind of say that more likely than not, it probably will be a 2-point game. But this did open at 3, so I think that's a key number to keep in mind. Herbert, 3-1 record at home versus Denver. That one loss was because last year, that was the game he got injured and Easton Stick had to come in. Russell Wilson beat them. I think it was 20. I think it was bullshit game, really.
24-17 or something.
Yeah, something like that. By
the way, I saw Jose commented Broncos and Sutton anytime touchdown. The Sutton anytime touchdown, I've heard a lot of sharps on the Sutton anytime.
I think it's a value play. I'll have to pull up the number, at least on FanDuel. I can pull up what the number is.
I think it's plus 140, 150.
Well, I was going to say for weeks on end, Sutton was a 3-1, 4-1 touchdown scorer prop that was really insane to think until you realize they weren't throwing to him as much. But lately, it's been cash and money. So, yeah, Sutton is a 1.5 plus 150. He's just under Ladd McConkey.
Yeah, I think he's had good numbers against the Chargers too. So I've heard a lot of sharps on that. So that's good thinking. I've heard a lot of sharps.
I'm gonna keep that in mind. So
my touchdown play, another this may be even sharper with the Chargers as favorites. Quentin Johnson plus 250. He has been the touchdown maker for the Chargers as favorites. You may want to give him a look.
I'll think about it. Not the worst play I've ever heard.
There was a guy on SGPN who was on the Quentin Johnson plus 250.
Yeah.
Anytime.
So here's the argument for Denver. They have a really good track record ATS this year. They're actually the best team to bet on ATS this year. They're 6-1 ATS on the road. The Chargers, they are 4-1 ATS as home favorites, but look how well that worked against the Bucks last week. If you look at the stats, there are some major differences between this Broncos team earlier in the season when these two teams played versus when they're going to play now. This is the big one I'm going to mention. The Denver Broncos going into week 6. They were 31st in the league at third down percentage. They were 24%. From weeks 1 to 7, they were only 30% converting on third down. Since week 8, Denver has pretty much increased that to 47%. They're middle of the road in the league at 16 in the NFL. And watching that last game, that is a key difference. If you remember the last game, what happened? It was a mirror image of the Colts game. Denver was turning the ball over early. Denver couldn't convert on third down. Denver's defense couldn't stop the Chargers. Well, what happened in that Colts game that we literally just saw happen last week? Well, Denver was converting on third down. They were moving the ball. They were getting scores. They were getting points on the board. Pat Surtain, too. He played the full game.
Mm-hmm.
You look at the Chargers too in that matchup. Chargers scored 23. 10 of those points came off of the turnovers. That's where I was going to get to. So yeah, Broncos turned the ball over early. Chargers scored 10 points off of them.
Do you know who Conklin is? I don't know who Conklin is.
Conklin?
Jose said Conklin anytime TD as well. Conklin. Maybe McConkey?
Oh, Ladd McConkey.
I can't pronounce his name either.
Let me see. I got Ladd McConkey. Let me go.
I like Sutton over receiving yards. I think it was at 62.5 was another one I liked.
Little Jordan Humphrey at 12-1 is very
tempting. No, here's what I wanted to ask you. Deshaun Vele over 31.5 receiving yards.
Oh, he could get that in one play.
Because he had 78 yards against the Chargers, and he had no targets last week. So I'm wondering if this is a bounce back spot.
So, again, going back to the last game, a lot of the scores, a lot of the drives that Denver had, they came in the fourth quarter. If you look at that game, the Chargers gave up 16 unanswered in the fourth. They only really lost because Denver didn't get the onside kick. And because Denver actually fumbled Justin Herbert early, but they ruled him down. So instead of Denver getting the ball in a turn of events, Chargers kicked a 3 and momentum is dead. So I make the argument that like Denver could have beaten them in week 6, but it just didn't really go their way. We saw this game again last week. Denver flipped the script. They got the win. So it's a whole different ball game this time around. LA looks horrible right now. Justin Herbert's injured. They don't have J.K. Dobbins to hand the ball off to. They don't have a tight end. Will Dissly is out now. Their cornerback, Cam Hart, out. This Chargers offense, they cannot score more than 17 a game in the month of December. They can't score more than 17 since J.K. Dobbins went out. Mind you, they scored 17 in the first half against Tampa. They did nothing in the second half. This is like, oddly enough, like a game script kind of game where I can see the Broncos, depending on how flat they come out. This could be a Chargers first half, Broncos win.
It could be. I think the Chargers have been. I think the Chargers are very good I think it's Denver that's been bad in the first half as underdog. I think they've
been very bad in the first half. But like again, I mentioned this earlier. Who do they beat? Kirk Cousins when he threw 4 picks. They lost to the Ravens. They only put up 23. The Ravens defense is not that good. They only put up 23. I don't know. Bottom line, even if this game happens again like it did in week 6, do I see the Chargers pulling this off again? No, I do not. They split the series each year normally. The Broncos have won each of their primetime games this year. I really don't know why people are scared of betting the Broncos here. I think they're just – I think people are looking too much into the number. I don't think they're necessarily, thinking about the matchup. I don't think they're thinking about the spot too much. So, yeah, for me, this is a Denver smash spot all the way. I'm with that. I actually, like, early on when it was 3 – may have gotten cute and said, fuck the points, give me the money line. So.
Well, I wish you luck, buddy. Like I said, I'm not playing the spread in this game. So.
Well, there's one more thing. I didn't mention this. Yeah, I said fuck the points, give me the money line. That's an indication. Give me my dog of the week. Give me my Denver Broncos.
Oh, well. Thursday dog. Well, you know me on Thursday. I've been terrible. So.
It's a combination of, I don't know if there's many other underdogs into the Sunday games that I'm really heavily leaning on. I just think if you look at the Broncos, even at their worst, they're trending in the right direction. If you look at the Chargers, at their best, they're trending down. They are not looking good. This, to me, looks like a sleepy spot for the Chargers. And the Chargers, too, they have the Patriots and the Raiders on deck. They could win those 2 games and still make the playoffs. I know it's a rivalry game. It could be big, but I just think this is a sleepy spot for Herbert. They may even pull him in the first half.
Yeah, well, he's gimpy. That's the thing. Yeah, there you go. Broncos lock.
Lock it in. Yeah, fuck. I mean, this is one of those games, like, a lot of the sharp bettors, a lot of, like, professionals, they're betting it based on the number. I'm saying fuck the number. Like,
I will say, Jose, Steve has been very good on Thursdays. I have been terrible on Thursdays this year. And after a couple years where you were terrible, you've been a lot better on Thursdays this year. I don't know. You've found the secret sauce this year.
Yeah, I don't know really what it is. I was going to say Thanksgiving was like the first year where like I went 3-0 ATS on Thanksgiving. That was something that I never did. Yeah, I don't know. It's scary because it's a divisional road underdog. You look at the stats. It doesn't support it. I just think you look at these two teams. This is a spot where I think the Chargers could lose, but they look ahead and they just say, you know what? We have the Patriots and the Raiders. We could beat them. Let's rest up here, get 10 days rest. We'll bring Herbert back. We'll bring everyone else back. We'll fucking stomp the Raiders and the Patriots. The Broncos, like, they win this. It's playoffs for the first time ever. And again, you said, like, the Broncos, they're not bullies per se, but, like, Sean Payton is not going to let up.
Yeah. And I think you could come into this game making the legitimate argument that Denver's the better team. So, I don't know. I still have a feeling the Chargers are going to win this game, but I hope I'm wrong. And like I said, I'm going at the game from different routes. I'm not playing a spread in this game. I'm going to be smart. I haven't had any good feel on Thursdays. I really don't have a good feel for this line. So I'm just going to root for you and wish you luck.
Thank you, buddy. I'll give you one last leg before we sign off for the night. One sharp better move that I did approve of. Broncos plus 2.5. Great teaser leg. Tease it up to 8.5.
Oh, yeah, if you want to throw it in with a teaser and you're not confident. I do think it's going to be a close game, so I'd endorse that. I don't think any team's going to lose. I don't think any team's going to get blown out in this game. But,
no, I don't. I mean, again, the question is, like, how does Denver perform in the first half? That is the big question. Because if Denver lays an egg like they did last week, if they do it again like they did against the Chargers the first time, there's a lot of cause for concern. I think if Denver at least keeps pace and keeps up, you know, if we get a Marvin Mims touchdown, if we get the Cortland Sutton anytime touchdown.
Yeah, I think Mims has had a couple games in a row with 3 catches, so I think his yards are at like 30, 31, so that's a possibility. I guess that depends if you're on Vele or not.
I like Vele, but I like him sort of later in the game. I don't like him early. There's a Gus Edwards alternate rushing yards that I'm kind of looking at. 40 rushing yards is plus 122.
Yeah, Jonathan Taylor had some good rushing yards against you guys. I don't know. Gus Edwards hasn't been good all year, though.
I mean, but 40 yards, that's not a lot. Like,
yeah, the question is how much of his share gets cut by Vidal. So that's
a fair point. But anyways, that's our Thursday night football pick. It's my dog of the week. I'm going Denver Broncos. I'm going all out. We'll give our closing remarks. Mansamnn, we got another 15 games. We got 2 Saturday games. We got to go over the Sunday games. We got to go over Monday Night Football. We'll be live back again, 7:30 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 5:30 Standard on the Western Coast. Yeah, like, subscribe, follow. Jose, thanks for hanging out with us, man.
Yeah, thanks for hanging out. Really appreciate it. You brought some great commentary. And now you get to learn.
Too, by the way, I might throw that in.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And now you get to learn about our favorite slogan. Big Bucks, I'll leave it to you. Take it away.
Yep, I am Big Bucks Beta.
Money Management signing off. And as always,
go win that motherfucking money. And as always, what we say about winners.
Winners get to eat.
Winners get to bathe.
Winners get to bathe.
All right. Have a good night, guys. Thanks again.